So how many of you got to attend our premier ham fest here in the Northeast called Nearfest? Nearfest is held in the spring and the fall every year. This was the spring edition of 2026. We had superior weather on Friday, bright sunny day, beautiful temperatures in the 60s and 70s, and just a little bit of a light wind. There were no black flies. You had to have your tanning butter on, okay? So that was the biggest problem, is maybe the sun. So you guys always want to know, did you pick anything up at the flea market? You'll see plenty of pictures of the Hamfest. There's usually several videographers that put stuff up on YouTube, so you'll see that. Also, there was an AM dinner last night. We had 26 people at the Molly Stark Tavern. Fabulous. They always overload your plate, and it's a great time to meet some of those calls that you hear, on the bands. So the kinds of things that I bought, I bought a box of these big capacitors because the guy was just dumping them. These are 1,600 microfarads at 400 volts each, and I probably got 10 or 12 of them. Just amazing. My good friend Leonid built me some tools to use with the little drill press I have. This is a pin vise, handmade pin vise. And it's used for holding parts where you don't want the vise to heat sink. So maybe you're holding something that you want to solder. So that's why this all fiberboard and composite pin vise is here. Helps you with doing a lot of work with your drill press. He also made a jig that works with step drills for my small drill press. It's nice that here's a center punch that he made and sharpened for me, as well as some machine drill bits. So here's some mu metal. Do you guys know what mu metal is? That's coming up in the next video. We're going to find out what mu metal is and how we use it. Oh, I picked up some sockets. I probably got 5 of these. They're really relay sockets, but these are useful for 1 and 2 tube prototype amplifiers and receivers. Nice octal sockets. I needed some 6040 solder in the medium size. Picked that up. Bunch of knobs. Several tubes for the All-American 5s, 12SQ7, 12SA7, that kind of thing. So a lot of stuff on this table. I like these knobs. Let's see what else. Here's an item I really needed. This is the 275 watt Weller. Now it's got the wrong tip on it. This is the 150 watt tip, but I have the tips that are going on this gun. This is something that I really needed to do some soldering on some of the chassis I work on, especially when we have rivets that are oxidized. You want to be able to solder those to the chassis. So this is a big, heavy-duty soldering pistol. So also I found this thing. Look at this, a beautiful National Vernier dial. It needs some restoration work, but that's going to make a beautiful dial for some kind of receiver project or VFO. You guys also know I can't resist something like this. This is in the same vein as the S38. It looks like an All-American style shortwave receiver. Let's turn it around. Okay, look at the dial on this thing. So this is a Holocrafters. It's not an S38. It's some oddball shortwave receiver of the same era. Looks like the 40s, so we'll do some research and find out what this is. But I thought these knobs would be great on it. I'm just sticking knobs on there that I just bought at the last minute from my friend Glenn. But yeah, see, I'm just putting these on here willy-nilly, but you get the idea. Just putting knobs on something like this dresses it up a little bit. A mystery item. This supposedly came out of a ham shack of a very capable amateur, and he had been a radio man in World War II, CW, telegraphy expert, and he was one of those guys that sends at the ridiculous speeds that you sometimes hear on the air. Those are some pretty special guys that can copy and receive 40 to 50 words per minute CW code. So this is one of his construction projects, one of the last things in the estate the guy was trying to dump. So I picked it up because it looked so interesting. So this is the chassis, at least, of an R19 ARC4 VHF transceiver. These were both used with dynamotors in aircraft and with AC power supplies in base stations. So this was originally 140 to 144 megahertz, just below the 2 meter band. So you can imagine this would have made a fantastic 2 meter AM rig. However, I'm seeing so many modifications on it, I have a feeling when I open this up, I'm going to see some crazy stuff. This looks like it might actually be an HF transmitter receiver in this box. See, it's got a crystal socket here, transmit receive switch. He's got a key jack. That tells me that maybe this isn't the VHF conversion, that perhaps this is some kind of an HF transmitter receiver that he built. It has a cord coming out the back, so I know it has a nice AC power supply, but this is really going to be interesting, and I hope this is something that's going to be kind of cool to use as a mystery and bring it back to its former glory. Look at this. It's got the antenna. That's like a trimmer. It's got gain control, a noise control, some kind of noise limiter he's got in here. And here's the audio gain. So this must be the RF gain. Yeah, I think this might be an HF transmitter receiver. We will see. Well, opening this up is just going to have to go to another day. Hold it. I'm not going to be so cruel as to leave you guys hanging. What's this Swiss cheese here? I don't know what that is. Maybe this is to get some tuning tools in there. Well, I see some deuce fasteners. The old deuce fasteners on the back. Let's see, is that enough to get it loose? Will that back just come off? I don't know. That's it, right? There's no other. That should just slide off, right? Get this out of here. Wow. Okay, I've got an idea. Let's see if we can get gravity to help us. So I'm putting it on the soft floor, and it has the two front handles to rest on. Okay, so now let's see if I can just pull it up with gravity. See? Okay, see? Stinking thinking. Oh my. Okay, so let's get this up here. Okay. So, I see a power supply built back here. This is definitely the IF. The 832 final is still in the radio. Let's get some light on the subject. Okay. The 832 final is still in the radio. Yeah, this may still be a VHF transceiver. Wow, look at the speaker built in too. That's pretty cool. I'm wondering. Oh yeah. This is still VHF. So this must be an early 2-meter conversion. So this is a 2-meter conversion with a lot of mods. Okay, I guess we got our answer. Wow. Not sure if Collins was involved at all, but look at these modern capacitors that he added in order to get this thing to work. There's a lot of change out that's got to happen. So, grid tuning. Okay, yeah, this is a 2-meter rig. Now, it's a little smaller than your 2-meter rig, right? No, it's a little bigger than your 2-meter rig. Okay, yeah, he's got this tuning capacitor here. So the receiver was tunable. And wow, it's got a new Vistor. Oh, you got to see this. You've got to see this. Let's see if I can get down in here. This has a new Vistor preamp added. Look at that. So on the front end, he's got a low noise preamp in this. This was indeed a pretty fancy 2-meter conversion of an ARC 4 RT19. Yeah, he put a lot of work into this. A story about the silent key that converted this transceiver. The guy that was selling off the estate told me this story that just seemed unbelievable, but he said that the XYL, the widow, wanted to dispose of all of the equipment in the shack, and that her husband, who had been a proficient CW guy, started to lose some of his abilities, and his CW was suffering, and it so upset him that he locked the ham shack door and never went in it again for the rest of his life. So it's always fun to go to Nearfest and pick through and look under the tables and find the treasures. Those treasures are what I look for here on the Microwave One channel.
There's something evil in my house.